All right, welcome to the Volterra Podcast number 19. We have been off for a little while, so how are we doing today, Louis?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Bit ill again. I think the last uh, podcast I was also quite ill, but I haven't really come out of that. So yeah, still a bit ill.
Yeah,
That's how life works in the UK, though. Winter, you just spend being sick, and then it's okay for the rest of the time.
I think that's why people got sent to like the West Indies and India to get rid of their like consistent colds in the 18th century.
Yeah,
Um,
and they just die of dysentery instead, so that
yeah, so
works.
when was the last time we actually spoke? It was before the New Year, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was on the 22nd of December. I can inform
Wow.
you.
Wow.
Last
So
podcast.
Christmas has happened, the New Year's happened, a bunch of people got killed in France.
Works in the UK though. Winter, you just spend being
Ooh.
sick, and
Ooh.
then it's
What is
okay
that?
the rest of the time.
I think that's why people got sent to like the West Indies and India
Interesting.
to
Hold
get
on,
rid of their yeah some technical difficulties.
we're back.
All right, we're back. We're back. So I think we would be remiss without just briefly touching on the biggest news story of the past several weeks, at least, the Charlie Hebdo killings. Uh, what's your kind of as someone who kind of goes into the gutter a little bit and I'm sure relishes his free speech. Um, I'd like to hear your take on this.
Obviously, the act is pretty grim. As a as a writer myself, I think there's really no condoning the actions of people that go into a uh, news studio and shoot up a bunch of people who work for a magazine. What I find is the sort of follow up to it is a bit bleak, really, with the whole. Well, now we're going to print a front cover with Muhammad on it. And it sort of reminds me of that South Park episode where they sort of parody Family Guy and this. There's free speech, and then it's just kind of common sense. That it seems like you're just poking the bear, poking the sleeping bear. And to look at it incredibly cynically, I suppose. I'd never heard of this magazine before a couple of days ago. I would imagine most people outside the francophone world probably hadn't either, and it's probably now the most famous magazine on the planet. Um, it's the kind of exposure that uh, is almost impossible to get ever, and I'd hate to think that somebody in a marketing boardroom somewhere along the line is, and they probably are, because that's the nature of the beast, using it to sort of drive their own agenda a little bit on this one. That's all I really thought on the matter.
Yeah, and the reaction is the it's like the paradox of the liberal ideal of free speech. You don't scream fire in the middle of a crowded theater, but you defend the right of people to do that. It's like it's the I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'll die to defend your right to say it.
Yeah, I forget who said this. Is John Madison or something. One of these.
Yeah, but
Benjamin.
in that you have to accept a certain amount of intolerance and a certain amount of prejudice or whatever. But where do you draw that line? Where does the prejudice become overwhelming, and you say no more? So in Germany and in France, denying the Holocaust is illegal. So that's a restriction on free speech. So all these magazine editors that are saying are talking about free speech. They don't have ultimate free speech. There's no such thing as ultimate free speech. And then on top of that, there's um, the idea that that if you want to offend somebody, Why are you offending somebody? Why are you going out of your way to offend somebody? It seems like they're going out of their way to offend rather than make a critical point. And this is a lot of this is victim blaming. Nobody should be shot and called out and executed, but it's there's a certain degree of offense in the and racism in the cartoons.
Yeah, I would have assumed they've been very quiet in the media. We don't get pictures of them here.
Yeah.
Or anything, obviously, because they're frightened of people blowing up their buildings. But that's by the by.
And then there's the reactions of the Fox News guys that are talking about how Birmingham is a completely Muslim city.
I was going to come to that actually because I forgot in the prologue, but that was a fascinating piece of news that Birmingham, Britain's second city, is a Muslim only town, I believe, or a non-Muslim friendly city, I think is the wording they put it, which is great. I actually have a cousin that lives in Birmingham, and to the best of my knowledge, he is not.
He's not a jihadist.
He's not planning Hajj. He's not. His pork intake is as consistent as a lot of the rest of the UK, and the last time I checked, he was very much not a devotee of the Prophet Muhammad and subsequent Mahdis, I believe, is the descendants. But yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I don't think you can tie a nice bow on that, but
I suppose for the people of Birmingham, if anyone's listening and planning on visiting Birmingham, which I doubt because it's an absolute shithole, you can go there whether you are Muslim or not. I think
it's a no-go zone for a much different reason than being majority Muslim or Muslim dominant. It's not a very nice place. I got lost there going from one station to another one time and walked through that massive mall shopping center downtown, and that was pretty dire.
Yeah, it's a rubbish place. There's nothing really more to say on it.
Yeah.
I apologize to any Rummy listeners, but they're the first people to know.
Yeah, exactly. So what else do we want to talk about today?
Well, you mentioned you drove cross country. Whereabout in the world are you at present?
I'm currently in San Diego, California, America's finest city.
You're in San Diego, California,
as it's called on the police cars. But we drove from Connecticut last week. Took 7 days or so. Stopped in Washington D.C., then stopped in Atlanta, which I highly recommend. Atlanta blew out all expectations for me. Yeah, exactly. You make that face. It's a really, really nice city. They're doing this thing called the Belt Line, which is Atlanta was originally the city was founded because it was a railway hub. That was its original purpose. And they're taking all the old rail lines that go through the city and making greenways out of them.
Like in New York, yeah.
Yeah, very similar to the High Line in New York. But here, it's all on ground level, and they have all these depots and warehouses that go right up to the walkway. So they're turning all these warehouses and old industrial areas into studios and new apartments. So it's this really great urban revitalization project that I was really impressed with. And a couple really cool neighborhoods, really cool old neighborhoods. And then New Orleans, which was awesome. If you get a chance to go
I'm interested to hear your take on New Orleans. I saw from a photo that you'd been there. Obviously, I've on these podcasts really dug the knife into the former capital of Lower Louisiana. So, what did you were taken with it?
I did. I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool city. I only spent 3 days there, so I didn't really go too in depth. There are some really shitty parts of it, obviously, but again, the kind of, I really like the architecture. I really like the kind of old world feel of it. It wasn't too hot. It was actually kind of chilly when we were there because it's winter. In the summer, I could feel it would be kind of oppressive. Bourbon Street is not where you want to go. Bourbon Street
No,
is
it's
it's a row of like strip clubs and shitty bars that serve fruity cocktails. But outside that, I just really like the rest of the French Quarter. I thought it was really nice. Yeah,
yeah,
you said some pretty derogatory things about New Orleans, no?
yeah. I didn't really like it very much, but it was the height of summer, and there was yeah, maybe we hadn't we could have planned it maybe a little better. The place we were staying was a bit of a dump as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, all in all, I didn't really. It was because it had been built up to be this like jewel of a city. And to be fair, it looks completely different to any other city in America.
Right. Right. For
Completely.
someone who's used to kind of old world charm as you are, Louis, and who doesn't find that much in the U.S., I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
we're a bit spoiled over this side of the pond, so to speak.
yeah. The one thing I did find strange about New Orleans was that they haven't updated the transportation system. It's still like old trolleys, which are very nice for tourists, I'm sure, but for people who live there, it doesn't seem like it's that I don't know, efficient or effective means of urban transportation.
Because they go comedy slowly as well. Like you can walk just a little slower than one of those buses goes. There's really not much in it.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, I suppose when it's hot, maybe it comes into play. But maybe they're just more laid back there. Who knows?
yeah. I don't know. It was I liked it. The French Quarter was really, and the Garden District was really nice. Good food as well, great food.
enjoyed it.
Um, and then we went to from there. We just drove straight to San Diego. We stopped in the night for a night in Midland, Texas, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's all about oil and energy production, and is a pretty like dire place. Like it's not very nice at all.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I stayed a couple of nights in kind of wouldn't say rural Texas, more like miscellaneous Texas. Of
do you
yeah,
remember the names of the places?
I believe it was Lubbock,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, which was somewhere again in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Lubbock is like straight north. It's like an hour and a half north of Midland.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
and yeah, I actually have a friend who lives in Lubbock. There's actually a university there though, and there's no
Well,
such university in Midland. There's just a lot of white pickup trucks. The largest Ford dealer in the country is in Midland, Texas.
good on him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And then we drove straight from Midland to San Diego. Like I said, America's finest city, and I've been here
One
since
go.
last week. What's that?
One go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's in between? New Mexico, Arizona.
Yeah.
Do you have to go through Nevada? You probably don't actually. Maybe
No.
it comes
No.
around.
Right
Wow,
along the Mexican border. Yeah.
yeah, cool. Wow, that's one hell of a drive.
Yeah. We had four drivers, so it wasn't. We rotated through all of them on that last day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I was with three other people who were like my sister, my sister's boyfriend, and my sister's best friend, who's like my little sister. So the entertainment quality was certainly there. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
Hey, you see the rest of your country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my third time going actually all the way across, like driving all the way across. So and the last time when I drove back this way, I did the southern route, basically what we did. So yeah, it's fun.
That is good. There's yeah, kind of regardless of the anonymity of the places in between, there's some glorious romance to driving across the United States of America. I don't know
Yeah.
if it kind of harks back from. It probably does actually, the kind of pioneer days and that sort of attitude. But to do like a similar thing in Britain would be immeasurably depressing. Like a drive from London to Aberdeen, for example, would be that would be the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
I forget who made a point about it. I think it was Rich Hall. That yeah, there's been no great British kind of road movies or road literature, but there's a reason for that. That there's kind of.
The only one that comes to mind is Road to the Wigan Pier, and that is patently depressing. And
yeah, if you're looking for some uplifting bedtime reading, that's a real winner. That one. Strange enough, I've actually been writing my own British road story. I tried to adapt On the Road by Kerouac, which I always thought was a piece of crap, actually, into a experience I had driving from Aberdeen to Dundee. But yeah, it's in progress, but it may be out soon.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
Are you going to publish it for it, or you're going to publish it on Talking Soup?
I'll publish it wherever. We
Yeah.
publish it on Volterra as well, if you'd like.
There you go. There we go. Would love it. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of writing something about. Well, I just kind of started it about driving across country, and I was thinking about this as I was going. Over the first couple of days, I was like, yeah, this, and then my sister kind of like reiterated this thought to me, and she goes, this is the kind of the simplest articulation. She's like, I wonder what it was like driving across country before like all the big box stores came in, because now everywhere looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
You drive across country, and every exit there's a Cracker Barrel, a McDonald's, a Chevron or Mobil or whatever, a Shell station, and like Home Depot, Walmart, Kmart, or something along those lines. Everywhere looks exactly the same, and there's no kind of. It's all. I mean, with the. It's very homogenous, I think, is the point, and it's the urban or the suburban sprawl that has infected the U.S. And I thought Atlanta is one of the biggest culprits of that. Atlanta's like known for suburban sprawl, but then the fact that they're kind of. I was talking with a kid who was showing us around, and Atlanta kind of just like spread all the way out as far as it could like reasonably go, and now it's kind of folding back in on itself, which I thought is an interesting kind of reaction. And I think that's that'll be over the next like 20 years, that'll be the kind of modus operandi for urban or for urban planning, town planning.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because you're right, the identikit town is quite depressing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
all right. So moving on. Tomorrow I'm flying to Indonesia and moving to Indonesia.
So I have heard you're an indefinite move to Indonesia, and like this is actually very exciting. I would say this is like quite exciting news. If I was moving to Indonesia, I would be obviously a picture of joy, as I usually am. But what is it? Obviously your girlfriend is Indonesian. So what is it you're going to be doing there?
We're starting a company together. And we're just texting her kind of prices for something. We're starting a company, and the pressure's on here. So it's called Kasakata Intercultural Relations.
Kasakata Intercultural Relations.
Yeah, the name of the company is Kasakata, and then what we do, we've titled Intercultural Relations, and I really don't like the term consultancy.
Okay. Because it's the thing that nobody really understands what it is. I get it. Yeah.
Right. I really don't like that term, but that's kind of what it is.
Okay.
Not really. So we're in three things. First, we're in green business, so we want to help Indonesian green businesses. We're partnering with one currently. Want to help them sell their products abroad, find investors from abroad, kind of grow green business in Indonesia.
Right.
We're also doing arts and cultural kind of exchanges, so helping art groups and cultural groups kind of organize themselves and put on their festivals and run events and that kind of stuff. And we're also doing translation and interpretation services. So right now, Nadia, my girlfriend, she speaks 4 different languages. So she does a lot of interpretation and translation. But kind of going forward, we want to be like an agency for translators and interpreters to kind of to help them find work and like kind of like a freelance agency almost.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's an
Yeah.
interesting point, especially with the language. Indonesia is one of these places with a vast amount of languages. Is that right? Or
Right. So there is one like lingua franca called Bahasa Indonesia, which
Bahasa, that's their one, right? I always wondered where Google Translate that was, but yeah.
yeah. So that's like the lingua franca, but that language was only created in like the 1920s as
So
like
you're
a,
looking at
like a
Hindu.
nationalist language.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so with those three, you can kind of see a pattern of like we want to be a bridge between Europe, the U.S., and Indonesia, and hopefully like kind of sit in that nice sweet spot and be like a a gateway or a bridge between the two worlds. Because we have, I mean, we're a couple that's like that, and we're also people who are kind of can live in different worlds, different cultures. So that's the goal, and I'm flying out tomorrow. So it's not scary, but it's like it's kind of surreal at this point because it's been a plan for several months, and
Now it's actually happening.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Well, that sounds incredibly grown up for a start. But yeah, I wish you all the best with it. I
Yeah.
assume you are heading to Jakarta. Is this where it will be?
Yeah, yeah. I think Jakarta is going to be the base for the first several months, and then we may go elsewhere. We got some work in Bali as well, hopefully. So, but yeah.
Oh, Bali is. I wasn't aware that Bali was actually part of Indonesia. That's
Most
the
people
place
aren't.
where
Neither was my mom. Yeah, neither was my mom.
well, yeah. There's a lot of there's Malaysia around there, and there's places like East Timor and stuff,
Right,
which is all
right.
it's quite confusing because it's well the archipelago. I don't know if there is an archipelagic nature of the terrain around there. We'll go with it. I don't mind. But yeah, that sounds very good. How is your Indonesian, Ron? How is your
It is. It exists, but not very much of it exists. That's one of my like big goals over the first couple months is to get some sort of fluency, so that I can, yeah, so that I can communicate. That's good. Like it's going to be really necessary for our work for me to be able to speak
a bit
Indonesian.
about yeah. And
Fortunately,
the
it's not very hard to learn. It's a pretty easy language to learn. So
okay,
yeah.
the constructed ones usually are the Hindis of this world and this kind of thing. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, good luck. What's the level of kind of spoken English? I know
Good
at some
question.
point we had a bit of it at sort of along the way a while ago, but yeah, how's English? Maybe in Jakarta.
Yeah, probably Jakarta. I'm not sure. I'll kind of find out. Regardless, I'm going to want to speak.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you know, absolutely. But
yeah,
yeah, as you sort of come into it.
yeah. But I'm going to go like full immersion. I'm going to go full native. I think pretty quickly, or try to at least.
Cool.
Um, yeah. But I was going to say something else. Um, oh yeah. So plug for the company Kasakata, KOSAKATA .biz. So check it out. We're on there. We're on the interwebs. We are
Brilliant.
up on the interwebs. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um. All
and the
right.
writing will continue alongside.
Yeah. So that was the other point going to be. So I will be writing. I will continue writing. Voltaire is going to take on a little new form. We're going to bring in a little bit of an Indo flavor to it. But this podcast will absolutely continue. Maybe with some more pointers or maybe with a little Indonesian flavor as well. But yeah, absolutely. There's going to be no stopping the runaway train that is the Voltaire.
Podcast. Well, I'd hate to think of any cultural barriers getting in our way. But yeah,
Yeah.
I fully approve of the yeah pan-oriental flavoring to it. That would spice things up, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Christ. Yeah.
So let's talk some football because there was a lot of football over the break, our break, the winter break, the holidays, whatever you want to call it. How did Hearts do? Does Scotland have a break?
We have like 2 weeks, but because of the fact that it's really cold here, you realistically get longer than that because a lot of matches get postponed due to snow.
Yeah.
The mighty Hearts, apart from Bayern Munich, are the only team in Europe still unbeaten. So, I mean,
It's not nothing.
it's a pretty weird situation. I've never known it before, but it's quite amazing. We drew with our great rivals Hibs out on the New Year's derby. All the other games we've won quite convincingly, and we are now 15 points clear. So it's looking pretty rosy here, and I'm just waiting for Bayern Munich to slip up, and then that's when the party really starts. Yeah.
Yeah. The Invincibles, the Scottish Invincibles.
Well, it's getting. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it, but you know, there's not that long left, and we're good. Well, not good, but everyone else is very, very bad. We've just signed actually a Dutchman from. I won't even try and pronounce it, but he played for Ajax at one point. So, and he scored 2 goals on his first game and missed a penalty. So he looks pretty good. No. So long may the chain continue. Yeah, we're.
Yeah. And Rangers are kind of falling apart again, from what I understand.
Big problems with shareholders, I believe. Newcastle's Mike Ashley tried to buy the club and was vetoed, I believe. Someone else was vetoed yesterday, but I think someone else has bought it today, or bought 60% of it, or something. It's a mess, is what it is. And the team's not been doing.
Are they going to get promoted?
It's between them and Hibs, actually. Hibs beat them 4-0 in their game a couple of weeks ago. But, yeah, it's a toss-up between them. The rest of the teams are absolutely dreadful. So they it's really those two.
Queen of the South, the team in the...
Queen of the South, yeah, very good football knowledge. Dumfries's finest footballing establishment. They are 4th, I believe, at the moment.
I remember when I visited St. Andrews, they were playing Celtic in the Scottish Cup final, Rangers in the Scottish Cup final.
Queen of the South, I remember when they did make it to the Scottish Cup final. I forget.
I think it was Rangers.
Andrews, yeah, maybe before, yeah.
I think it was Rangers. But it was before Rangers imploded. But anyway, a very Spursy break for Spurs.
Yeah. Harry New Year for the Spurs fans, I believe one of the papers went. So
yeah. Beating Chelsea 5-3 on New Year's Day.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming. Did you watch the game?
Oh my God, I was on my feet the entire time shouting at the television. It was brilliant. I did watch it. It was Harry Kane was phenomenal. Basically responsible for four goals. And then we come back and we draw at Burnley in the FA Cup replay, or FA Cup 4th round, I think, which is the replay I think is actually going on as we speak, or might be over by now.
Should start in 45 minutes, I believe.
Lovely. I'll throw that on when we're done.
Yeah.
And then lost to a Pardew reinforced Crystal Palace.
Yep. Well, it wouldn't be Spurs if it wasn't the highs and the lows.
Yeah. But
I must say they were very, very impressive against Chelsea. I haven't really seen a team play like that. That kind of complete like blitzkrieg football for a while. Liverpool kind of did it last year with that. Just go at them and see what happens, and usually it comes off. Yeah. Kane is excellent. I want to bite my tongue that I can already see it down the line that the English will get him involved with the rest of their World Cup qualifiers, and they're playing against a bunch of pub teams like Estonia and San Marino, and he'll probably score for fun against those guys,
Yeah.
and then the media will sort of laud him as this new savior, and they'll go to Euro 2016, 2016, and predictably be knocked out by better teams, and then Harry Kane's sort of star will fall.
I don't mind if I don't mind if his star falls, as long as he scores like 15 goals a year, 15, 20 goals a year, which he's on pace to do.
Yeah.
For Spurs, couldn't care less what he does it for England. Couldn't care less what he does for anybody else, as long as he puts some away for Tottenham.
Yeah. It's a shame he's English, really. If he'd been Irish or something, and it just had been like football, international football had been like a token laugh, then it would have been, I think, a much simpler situation.
Yeah.
But that nationality, it's a killer for the career sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Spurs have a new American as well, DeAndre Yedlin, who looks.
I remember him in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, he was very impressive. He played in that heartbreaking Belgium game. He came on very early, and I thought, that guy is good. Good shift.
He's fast. How intelligent he is yet to be. Well, he's young. He's 21.
It's unclear what position he plays, but yeah, I'm sure they'll work it out.
Yeah. So, anything else we wanna chat about before we go?
No, I think that's about it. We're caught up on footy. You're going to Indonesia. Crazy shit's happening in France, and it's been a good time.
All right, cool. Well, not sure when we'll do this again. We can probably do it next week. We'll see. I'll be in touch once I get settled there. I arrive at 1:00 Saturday morning, so 20 hours of travel, which is not the most I've done, but it'll be a long ass way.
From San Diego, does it go direct? Is there something?
No, it's I'm flying out of LA.
Of course, yeah.
LA to Tokyo to Jakarta.
Wow, that's long. Yeah.
Long fucking way. It's a long way. Yeah. So, stay warm in Edinburgh there. Try and feel better.
I don't think you'll have much problem staying warm in Jakarta. Otherwise, I'd wish the same.
I'll be sweating my balls off. All right, buddy. I will talk to you next week.
See you soon, Ron. Have safe travels.
Cheers.